Why I thought I was just lazy. Nope. Watch me collapse onto my couch, shoes still on, staring at the ceiling while my phone buzzes nonstop. My chest feels tight, not just tired, but heavy, and I wonder, am I just lazy? Or is something deeper going on? What if this isn't laziness, but real burnout, the kind that scrambles your brain and drains your body? Could there be a quick way to reset my whole nervous system, regain focus, and get my spark back almost instantly? Let's set the scene. You're sitting in a tense meeting at work, boss's eyes laser-focused, and suddenly you feel your heart beating faster. Your palms get clammy. Maybe there's a bead of sweat on your neck and the air feels thick, almost too hard to breathe. Anxiety creeps in, but you try to act normal. This is your nervous system flipping into high alert, setting off its ancient alarm bells. But what exactly is happening inside you? Your nervous system is like the electrical wiring of your body. It's split into two main parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic systems. The sympathetic is your fight or flight part. It jumps into action when you're in danger, even if that danger is just an angry email from a client or a test you forgot about. Then there's your parasympathetic system, the rest and digest mode. That's your calm, steady base, helping you recover and recharge. Now, picture your brain under stress. Scientists have taken brain scans of people before and after stressful periods. One classic example: a researcher scanned a healthy brain, then exposed that person to weeks of daily stressors, rushed deadlines, constant phone notifications, social drama. Afterward, the scan showed the amygdala, the alarm bell of your brain, lit up like fireworks, while the logical, calm areas looked dimmed down. Stress literally rewires the brain, making it easier to panic and harder to calm down. Maybe you've lived through this. You wake up at 2 a.m., replaying awkward conversations from the day. You try to fall back asleep, but your mind won't shut off. Or you're staring at your computer in a fog, forgetting what you were supposed to do 10 seconds ago. Even hearing a friend's text tone makes your stomach clench. Early warning signs of nervous system overload often sneak up on us. Maybe you notice you're tossing and turning at night. That's insomnia, one classic sign. Or suddenly, small things like a rude driver on your commute leave you boiling for hours, when it normally would roll off your back. Irritability creeps in, and everyone feels like they're getting on your nerves. Your appetite might flip-flop, hungry all the time, or not eating at all. These are all clues your nervous system's wiring is running hot. But let's get even more specific. Imagine you're at dinner with family. The clatter of plates, a small disagreement over who's doing the dishes. Suddenly, you feel overwhelmed and snappy. This is your stress response hijacking your ability to stay calm. Or you're watching your favorite show, but instead of relaxing, your mind keeps racing through tomorrow's to-do list. Maybe your partner asks, "Are you okay?" And you just nod, not wanting to explain how wired and tired you actually feel. Stress doesn't always show up as a meltdown. It's in those everyday moments when you just can't be present. Day after day, this stress builds up. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline, those stress hormones designed for short bursts, not all-day marathons. Over time, chronic stress begins to blur the line between real danger and everyday annoyance. Instead of saving you, your own alarm just keeps ringing. But stress doesn't just hijack your mood. It takes a toll on your body, headaches that won't quit, tension in your shoulders and jaw, goosebumps popping up when you're just sitting still. Your mind stays foggy, attention slips, mistakes multiply. Even your immune system tanks, so you catch every cold going around. Friends might say, "You look wiped out," and you snap back, "I'm just tired." But deep down, you know it's more than tiredness. You're stuck in a loop. One powerful image: imagine an electrical circuit that's overloaded with too much power. If you keep flipping on more and more appliances, eventually, the breakers trip and the lights go out. That's exactly what long-term stress does inside you. Your brain and body try to keep up, but if you never unplug, those fuses keep burning until nothing works right. So how do you know if you're really in trouble? There are early signals. You wake up already exhausted, like your battery's been drained overnight instead of recharged. It's not just tiredness, it's a bone-deep weariness that coffee can't fix. Even exciting plans feel like chores. Your patience thins to nothing. You might snap at your partner or kids over tiny things, then feel guilty afterward. Here's a true story about Sarah, a graphic designer. She loved her work at first, the colors, the creativity, the client feedback. But after a year of back-to-back projects, working late nights and weekends, she noticed her spark was gone. She'd stare at her computer, barely able to start a simple design. She was getting sick every month, and even the foods she used to love tasted bland. At first, she figured she'd toughen up. But one day, trying to send a routine email, her hands started trembling. She closed her laptop and cried, realizing she couldn't remember the last time she truly felt happy or rested. Sarah's doctor showed her brain scan results, pointing out how her stress alarm system was basically jammed in the on position. With therapy, rest, and some basic resets, Sarah slowly rebuilt her energy, but it took months. She later said, "I always thought I was just tired or lazy. But I was driven to a total shutdown." Let's pause on this for a moment. Sarah didn't just feel tired. She lost interest in food, got physically sick, stopped enjoying her hobbies, and felt distant from friends. That's a map for how deep stress rewires not only our thoughts, but how we experience the world physically and emotionally. And she isn't alone. You might know someone like this. Or maybe you see a bit of yourself in that story. Now, I want to share what people miss. You don't have to hit absolute rock bottom. There are tricks to catch yourself before burnout takes over. The next time you feel your chest tightening while you're stuck in traffic, try this. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Focus on your breath and take a few slow, deep inhales. Or go splash cold water on your face. It sends a direct signal to your brain to exit panic mode. Sometimes, just pausing to wiggle your toes or feel the texture of your shirt is enough to interrupt your stress spiral. Another example, I once talked with a teacher named Mark, who realized he always clenched his fists during staff meetings without noticing. He started keeping a pebble in his pocket. When meetings got tense, he'd squeeze the pebble and shift his mind back to the way it felt. Cool, smooth, solid, and that little trick calmed him down enough to make it through. Small grounding rituals like that can be life-changing when you practice them early. People often ignore these little signals because life moves so fast. Maybe you scroll on your phone for hours, convincing yourself you're just relaxing. But really, your brain never gets a break. Your nervous system never gets that chance to recover. That's why so many of us live in a stretched, thin state. We keep grinding because we're supposed to be strong. Chronic stress isn't just a feeling. It's a physical force that shapes your entire life. Unchecked, it creeps into every part of your day. At work, you start making mistakes. At home, you forget details, lose track of appointments, even snap at people you love. It can steal your sleep, your appetite, your memory, and eventually your sense of self. The good news? You're not powerless. The human body is built to respond to stress, but it's also built to recover. Our brains can heal. But you need to spot the signs before the circuit breaks for good. Here's the wild part. If you can learn to tune in early, catching when your body and mind first start to overload, just a few seconds of the right reset can break the chain reaction. That means fewer meltdowns, better focus, and less guilt for needing rest. But how do you know when it's time to pause? What does it really look like when your nervous system begs for a reset? That's exactly what we'll get into next. The question is, can you spot the signs before it's too late? Let's talk about what it actually feels like when your nervous system is screaming for a break, even if you don't want to hear it. Most people imagine burnout as this dramatic crash, But honestly, the earliest clues are tiny, sneaky things that show up in your everyday life. The trick is to spot them before they pile up and knock you over. First sign: emotional detachment. You find yourself in situations where you used to feel excited. Maybe it's finally Friday, or you're playing your favorite video game, or even hanging out with people you love. Only now, nothing feels right. You're there, but it's like you're wrapped in bubble wrap. The world sounds muffled and colors fade. Maybe you're at your friend's birthday party and everyone else is laughing, but you're just waiting to go home. You can't find that spark of happiness. Sometimes you catch yourself thinking, shouldn't I care more about this? That numb, flat feeling is your brain's way of protecting itself from overload. Next comes loss of motivation. This isn't just being a little lazy or wanting to chill on a Sunday. It's when your whole to-do list feels like climbing Mount Everest. The smallest things, emptying the trash, writing one email, answering a text, suddenly take all the energy you've got. Maybe you start putting off things you used to handle without thinking. Your work piles up, and guilt does too. Why can't I just get started? You wonder, staring at your mess while hours slip away. Now, let's get real about physical exhaustion. This is the kind of tired that sleep doesn't touch. You can knock out for a full 8 hours or more and still wake up foggy and drained, dragging yourself to the coffee pot. Even your body feels heavier. Sometimes your arms and legs ache, or you keep yawning through the day. It's like your battery won't charge, no matter how much you rest. If you try to push through, you might start getting sick more often, with headaches or stomach problems as your body waves the white flag. Every step can feel like you're moving through mud, and even smiling takes effort. Increased irritability is another biggie. If you find yourself snapping at people over things that wouldn't normally bother you, like your partner breathing too loud, a friend running late, or your dog barking one extra time, that's a red flag right there. These little annoyances explode way out of proportion. You might even feel angry with yourself. Why can't I calm down? Why am I so grumpy? It's not just your mood, it's that your system's running on fumes and has no patience left in the tank. And it goes both ways. Sometimes you can feel tears prick your eyes out of nowhere, or your hands clench when you're just trying to open the fridge. That's your nervous system waving a flag too. Then there's foggy thinking. Ever walk into a room and forget why you went there, or stare at your screen rereading the same sentence over and over, unable to focus? Your brain feels like it's buried in cotton. Decisions are harder than they should be, even about simple stuff, like what to eat for lunch. Sometimes you forget what you were saying halfway through a sentence, or you keep losing your keys, your phone, your train of thought. This isn't just being scatterbrained. It's a warning sign your nervous system's resources are tapped out. Here's a real-life snapshot. Mark, a college student, was always the go-getter. But after a tough semester, he started missing classes, ignoring texts, putting off studying. One afternoon, his roommate asked what was wrong, and Mark just shrugged. I don't know. I just feel empty. Later, Mark admitted he couldn't even feel nervous about failing his tests. He just felt nothing. For weeks, he went through the motions, barely noticing music, food, or even jokes from his friends. It finally hit him when he forgot about an important paper and almost failed the class. That was the wake-up call. Or take Jasmine, a parent juggling a job and 2 kids. She prided herself on keeping it all together. But cracks were showing. She lost her car keys 3 times in 1 week, lashed out at her spouse over spilled cereal, and started feeling like she was watching life through a TV screen. Jasmine's exhaustion wouldn't lift, no matter how early she went to bed. She even started craving junk food and sugary snacks to try to keep going, but nothing helped. Her mind just wasn't firing like it used to. Even music on the radio stopped sounding fun, and she noticed she'd zoned out at red lights a few times, not remembering the drive. And it's not just these 2 stories. I bet you can think of moments in your own life when everything just felt a little too heavy, a little too gray. For example, imagine sitting at your desk at work. The computer screen looks brighter than usual, almost hurting your eyes. You click from tab to tab, but nothing sticks. Someone in the office microwaves popcorn, and the smell makes you weirdly annoyed instead of hungry. Your phone buzzes with a text, but your thumb just hovers over it. You can't seem to care enough to respond. Even the sound of your coworkers chatting in the hallway grates on your nerves. You feel trapped, counting down the minutes until you can leave, but you also have no energy to do anything when you get home. Or picture a quiet Sunday morning at home. Instead of relaxing, your mind races with 100 little things you're supposed to do, but you end up just doom scrolling on your phone for hours, feeling both restless and exhausted. When your family asks what movie you want to watch, you just mumble, "I don't care," even though picking movies used to be your thing. Halfway through, you struggle to pay attention and don't laugh at the jokes. You're there, but you're not really present. Even the sunlight sneaking through the window feels a little flat, and nothing seems to spark your interest. And sometimes these signs spill into physical sensations. Your heart might race for no reason, or you notice a tightness in your chest that's hard to shake. Maybe your hands get clammy before a meeting, or, strangely, you feel cold all the time. Some people even start waking up in the middle of the night, replaying worries, or dreaming about their never-ending to-do list. These signals are real, even if you try to ignore them. Your nervous system can't keep pretending things are fine. You might not even realize you're burned out until someone asks, "Are you okay?" And you can't find a real answer. When small things turn into giant obstacles, and joy seems to have gone missing, it's time to hit pause, not push harder. But let's pause here for a second. You're probably thinking, what if I just need to toughen up? Isn't everyone tired? Maybe I'm just not working hard enough. That's the voice of hustle culture talking. The truth is that ignoring these red flags only digs the hole deeper. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's your body asking for help. So what's the next step when you spot one or more of these signs? That's when it's time for a reset. It doesn't need to be some big spa day or a week-long vacation. The best resets are quick, simple, and can be done right where you are, whenever you notice the signs creeping in. Recognizing these clues, emotional flatness, lost drive, body fatigue, short temper, scrambled thoughts, is your signal. Your body and brain aren't failing you, they're just asking for a break. The beauty is there's a way to answer that call, in just 30 seconds, anytime stress starts squeezing too tight. But that wasn't even the strangest part. Once you really learn to reset your system, new energy and clear thinking can come back almost instantly. So how do you do it? Stay tuned, because next I'm going to walk you step by step through a reset technique that works anywhere, anytime. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about how powerful these few simple breaths really are. Maybe you're thinking, can something so quick actually work? Let me tell you about a paramedic named John. He works in a big city where sirens seem to never stop. He told me, "When I walk into chaos, my training kicks in, but inside, my chest is tight, like I'm holding my breath. So before I open the ambulance door, I always do your 4-4-6 breathing trick. By the time I step out, I'm not shaking anymore. My hands are steady enough to help." And there's research to back him up. Dr. Wendy Suzuki, a neuroscientist, did studies where participants used this exact pattern during stressful situations, a math test, or even just public speaking. People reported their thoughts slowing down. Their hands stopped trembling. And a lot of them said they felt strangely grounded, almost like the stress was happening somewhere else, not right inside them. Now, let's break down what's really happening in your body when you use this reset. When you inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, that cool rush of air tells your brain it's okay to calm down. Your lungs expand and send a signal to your vagus nerve, which acts like your body's chill-out button. Holding that breath for 4 counts gives your system just enough pause, like pressing the brakes when the car's engine is revving too hard. Then, the magic power move, exhaling slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. This longer out-breath is the key. It's like letting air out of a balloon gently. It switches on your parasympathetic nervous system, the part in charge of rest and digest. That's why with every slow exhale, your heart rate drops, your muscles unclench, and your mind starts to clear. So let's walk through this together. Imagine you're about to present in front of your whole class, your palms slick with sweat. Maybe you feel your heartbeat pounding in your neck. Close your eyes for a second, no one's going to notice. Inhale through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel your chest and belly rise like filling a balloon. Hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay still, notice the quiet, even if it's just for a heartbeat. Then slowly exhale through your mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Imagine all the tension leaving with that breath. Repeat just 2 or 3 cycles, and suddenly, it doesn't feel so impossible anymore. Let's look at another real-world scenario. Maybe you're stuck in traffic after a long day, hands tight on the steering wheel, knuckles white. Horns are blaring. You're already late. Your shoulders are inching up toward your ears. What can you do? Most people just stew. But you've got a reset button. Right there. You shift in your seat, grip the steering wheel. Maybe your hands feel cold, or you notice the pattern of the stitches. Breathe in through your nose for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth for 6. As you do, the blare of horns starts to fade, and maybe you notice the tick of your car's turn signal, the hum of the engine, or the cushion pressing under your legs. These grounding details let you know you're safe. You're in control, even if everything outside is chaos. This technique isn't just for big, dramatic moments either. Think of Katie, a middle school teacher. She told me, when the classroom gets loud and I start to feel my patience slipping, I step behind my desk for just 30 seconds. I put both hands flat on its cool surface, feeling that smooth, hard edge under my fingertips. The connection is real. Even if my mind wants to race, my body tunes in. As I breathe, I focus on the scratchy sound of chalk, the swing of the classroom door, the distant hum of conversation. By the time I finish, I'm ready. Instead of reacting, I can respond. And you don't have to be sitting alone for this reset to work. Let's say you're in the middle of an argument at home. Maybe voices are rising, and you feel your jaw clench tight. You excuse yourself for a bathroom break. Yes, that counts. You close the door, put your hand on the cold sink, and let yourself breathe. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. You might even notice your reflection looking back with a bit less panic in the eyes. By the time you rejoin, your pulse has slowed, your shoulders have dropped, and you can actually hear the other person, not just your own racing thoughts. Here's a pro tip. Pairing the 4-4-6 breathing with grounding is like hitting reset twice. Try touching something, a key in your pocket, the buttons on your shirt, or a cool refrigerator handle. Pay attention to how it really feels. Cold, smooth, bumpy, or even a bit sticky. Focusing on those sensations while you breathe pulls your attention out of your head and into your body. And don't underestimate the immediate physical changes. People say, I can actually feel my heartbeat slow down, or my muscles stop coiling up like springs. You might notice warmth in your fingertips, or a tingling as tension leaves your body. Athletes often imagine their stress melting down their limbs with every exhale. If you tune in, you'll realize your own body's stress dial is lowering, one breath at a time. The really cool part? Your brain changes too. As you use this reset more often, your mind starts to recognize the pattern. After a few weeks, just starting that first deep inhale can begin to trigger calm. It's like teaching your brain a new shortcut. Suddenly, you'll notice arguments don't knock you off your game as fast, and big moments, like job interviews recitals, or tough conversations feel a little less scary. Instead of fog, you get clarity. And that means you can be more present, make better choices, or simply enjoy the good things around you. How do you know it's working? Let your senses be your guide. Maybe after a reset, the noise in the room doesn't seem so overwhelming, or the color of the sky looks sharper, or you notice laughter in the distance, a sign your brain's shifting out of defense mode and back into enjoying the world. Of course, mastering this reset takes more than just knowing the steps. The trick is getting your nervous system to expect that relief, a habit that works like muscle memory. So, how can you make the 30-second reset pop into your mind exactly when you need it, every single time, without stumbling? That's what I'll share next. Easy ways to weave this little rescue into your everyday life, so it's always ready, no matter what stress comes your way. So now you've learned this powerful 30-second reset, but if you're anything like most people, you'll forget it the minute life gets busy again. It's so normal. It's one thing to try it after a video, but another thing to actually breathe slowly when an argument breaks out or your boss drops a last-minute deadline. That's why the real magic is in turning this reset into a habit, a built-in rescue tool for daily life, not just stressful moments. Let's start simple. Visual cues make the invisible visible. They're your best friend when you're building any new habit. Picture a bright lime green sticky note on your laptop that just says, "Breathe." Suddenly, every time you glance at your screen, it's like a friend giving you a gentle nudge. Or maybe you set a phone alert, and every couple hours it vibrates and flashes a smiling emoji. One teacher I spoke with, Jared, uses the sound of the school bell as his cue. Each time classes change, he stops and takes 3 slow breaths at his desk. He says, "Before I started, the end of the day felt like crawling across the finish line. Now I actually feel steady." Lucy, the marketing executive I mentioned before, loved her calming ocean desktop. But her trick went further. She placed a tiny seashell next to her mouse. Whenever she bumped it, she'd take that second to reset. Even small stuff, like a sticker on your water bottle or a painted fingernail as a reminder, can keep your intention top of mind. Pairing your reset with something you already do is another powerful trick. Habit scientists call it habit stacking. It's as simple as tying a new habit to an old, reliable one. Take your morning coffee routine. Every day, before your first sip, try this. Inhale, hold, exhale deeply. Now your favorite drink becomes a mental cue to check in with your body. Or say you work from home and find yourself refilling your water glass 10 times a day. Each refill, do one reset. I heard from a nurse named Maria who said, "Every time I change out of my scrubs, I do my reset breathing. It helps me leave work stress behind instead of carrying it home." Don't forget about tracking. Making progress visible helps you stick with it. Some folks love a little notebook, jotting simple marks or even mini reflections like, "Best reset today, sunshine on my arms." Annie, who's in college, upgraded to a habit tracker app on her phone. She says, "Every time I hit 7 days in a row, I get a streak badge and this silly little confetti animation. It's dorky, but seriously, it makes me smile." If you're more old school, a calendar with colorful smiley stickers can work wonders. After 2 weeks, seeing a whole row of happy faces is a real mood booster. Even on days you only manage one reset, that's evidence you're taking care of yourself, and it adds up faster than you think. Now, let's bring your senses into the mix. The more senses you recruit, the stickier the habit gets. Try standing by an open window first thing in the morning and syncing your breath with the breeze. Or maybe you're someone who loves music. Pick a favorite song, close your eyes, and do your reset as the melody unfolds. I heard from a high schooler, Justin, who keeps a smooth pebble in his hoodie pocket. Whenever he feels it, he does one reset, rubbing the stone between his fingers. He told me, "It's small enough no one notices, but it actually helps me focus, not just calm down." Think about texture, temperature, sounds, maybe hot tea in hand, sunlight on your face, or even snapping a rubber band on your wrist, then breathing through any tension. The goal's not to check a box, but to discover what truly feels good to you in the moment. But here's another tip that really amps up your commitment. Change your scenery just a bit each week to keep your resets fresh. For example, one week, make your resets outdoors while feeling the breeze on your cheeks. Next week, try a cozy corner indoors with soft lighting. Sarah, a social worker, once told me, switching up where I do my resets, like sometimes in my car before I head home, stops things from feeling like a boring chore. It keeps my mind interested. If you're a parent, involve your kids for some extra accountability and fun. Maybe you both stand at the window and count birds together while breathing deeply, or try making it a game. Who can hold a calm face the longest during a reset? And when you hit a tough day, tune into how your body actually feels before and after a reset. A quick mental note like, wow, my shoulders actually dropped, or my chest feels lighter now. Even subtle changes show your effort is working. Invite a little curiosity. Was my breath deeper or shallower than yesterday? Did I feel more relaxed, or just a little more grounded? Tracking feelings, not just streaks, can make the habit more personal and rewarding. Celebrate your small wins, every single one. Did you pause and breathe before opening a stressful email? That's worth an internal high five. Or maybe you went a whole week remembering your reset each morning. Treat yourself to a quiet moment, a favorite snack, or a walk in the sun. Don't underestimate the power of sharing progress. Text a friend, hey, remembered my reset 3 days in a row. Or even post a funny GIF in a group chat. A mom I know started reset races at dinner time. Her family would take turns leading a calming breath or gentle stretch together, with lots of laughter and a special sticker for the day's leader. Of course, there'll be days you forget. Life happens, don't beat yourself up. If you catch yourself at bedtime realizing you didn't do your reset once, use it as feedback, not failure. Ask, when could I try again tomorrow? Only takes 30 seconds to turn your whole day around. Let's zoom into a week where resets become part of your rhythm. Picture Monday. You start with a sticky note reminder. Take a deep breath before opening emails. At lunch, you go for a walk, noticing the scent of grass or sound of birds. That becomes a reset moment. Come Wednesday, you find yourself stuck in traffic. But instead of getting tense, you squeeze the steering wheel, then breathe slowly while waiting at the light. By Friday, it's second nature. Maybe you even lead coworkers through a quick reset before a big meeting, and everyone leaves a little calmer. The true gift of daily resets isn't just feeling a bit better for 5 or 10 minutes. Day by day, you're building up stress resilience, the ability to weather storms without getting swept away. Over time, you may notice your mood softening, your worries shrinking just a bit, and even your body reacting less to triggers that used to throw you off course. You might find yourself recovering from setbacks faster, or even sleeping more soundly. And the coolest part? The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes, just like brushing your teeth. And just imagine, months from now, you're standing in a long line at the grocery store. There's loud beeping at the register, a toddler having a meltdown nearby, and your phone's buzzing with messages. Ordinarily, you might feel all wound up, but now your thumb finds the edge of a coin in your pocket, or your eyes scan for something calming, maybe the colors on the magazine rack. Without thinking, you breathe deeply, let the noisy world fade, and feel tension melt away bit by bit. You've trained your brain and body to hit reset, right when you need it most. But here's the thing. What does this add up to over a whole month? Or even a year? What deep down changes can you expect if you keep practicing? Well, stick around, because in the next section, we'll wrap it all up and hint at even more powerful techniques you can use to support your nervous system for life. We've covered a lot of ground today, from those first quiet signs of burnout right through that 30-second reset you can do anywhere. Let's take a moment, breathe in together, and really remember what this is all about. First, those warning signs we talked about. Emotional numbness, motivation slipping away, that bone-deep tiredness that sleep can't fix. Every little thing setting you off, and feeling fuzzy or scattered inside your own head. Those aren't just rough days, they're your nervous system waving a red flag. And the truth is, listening to those red flags early can change everything. Ignoring them piles on more stress, makes things messier, and colors every part of your life. But the transformation starts with something surprisingly simple: bringing awareness and action together. Just think about what would happen if, instead of powering through, you started honoring those signals, pausing to reset before you hit the wall. Our main reset technique, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6, works because it taps right into your parasympathetic system, telling your body in real time, you're safe. We can calm down now. Right now, you have a science-backed shortcut to fend off storms before they sweep you away. The beauty is in the little things. You don't need special gear. You don't have to schedule a whole afternoon away or tell everyone you're taking a mental health day, unless you want to. You can fit these resets in while waiting at a traffic light, tying your shoes in the morning, or any time you feel your heart pick up speed for no clear reason. Those visual reminders and habit pairings we talked about make it automatic. Even 3 resets a day can set a totally different tone. It's not a magic fix, but it's a real tool, a foundation for bigger change. Let's be real. Sometimes you'll forget. You'll have days where it seems hopeless, when you lose your habit streak or worry it's not working. That's normal. Relapse is part of learning new patterns. The best thing you can do is just start again. Each moment is another chance to press reset. Every time you choose to breathe slow instead of spiraling, your brain gets better at bouncing back, and little by little, that becomes your superpower. Investing in your nervous system isn't just a self-care trend. It's a way to protect your best thinking, stay creative, hold on to your patience, and connect with people you care about. Regular resets lower your daily stress baseline. Over months, they help heal foggy brains, lift moods, boost energy, and even strengthen your immune system. It's one of the best gifts you can give yourself, and you're never too young or too old to start. So here's what I want you to do. Try the 30-second reset right after this video, and anytime you feel your body tensing or your mind running wild. Keep a little tracker, a notebook, an app, whatever feels right, and see what changes over a week, 2 weeks, a month. Notice when you slip, and give yourself grace. Share your story in the comments, or ask your burning questions. What's working for you? Where do you always get stuck? Your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own reset journey. I'm working on a whole new video where we'll dig even deeper into advanced nervous system hacks. Stuff like progressive muscle relaxation, visualization, and how food, exercise, and routines can boost your reset power. If you're curious or have something specific you want to know, drop that in the comments too. So really, what are you waiting for? Your nervous system does so much for you every day. Give it 30 seconds in return, and watch what changes. Maybe the thing you need most is a pause, a breath, and the reminder that feeling better is both possible and right at your fingertips. And maybe, just maybe, the next time stress comes charging in, you'll know exactly how to greet it, reset, and come back to center. What else is possible once you learn to reset your own system? That's the adventure ahead.